recording an intro video. This is it. We're here.
No intro videos.
No
we
intro
just go
videos.
live.
Yeah, we're just going live. That's all.
Live. And loving it.
Absolutely.
Loving it.
Yeah, for sure. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning, Jason. How are you?
Doing well. For anybody out there watching, welcome to Try New Tech with our host, Dr. Shannon Gregg, and I'm Jason Anthony. And every week we come to you with new technology to try out. So pretty exciting stuff.
I love it. I love that we do this, Jason, because I get so many email newsletters. And I know you do too. And I comb through so many websites looking for new things. And so often they just want to write about it. And I'm like, how about be about it?
That's right. So I've got a pretty neat one for you today. I know we do a lot of online technology, right? This one kind of steps outside of the online realm, still incorporates it in a really cool way, which we'll talk about, then merges it with the physical reality. So we're going to talk about some medtech today. And it's something that I just started to personally use and I'm experimenting with. So I thought it'd be really cool to share on the show. You ready for this?
I am super excited about this, actually, since we're entering our midlife. We're firmly inside of midlife. So
yes, firmly put it in there. I know my lower back feels it. And my knees.
Here we are.
Take care of your knees.
I have found myself deeply ingrained in perimenopause threads, and I did not enter that. It just chose me.
Right. Okay, so today, and you're probably going to start to see this because I believe this platform is taking off. Function Health. Right out of the gate, this website is just beautiful from a web design perspective and just everything. Function Health is a platform that you can subscribe to annually, and what it does is so Shannon, you're very familiar with preventative care, obviously.
Yes.
You're a component of it. But you've probably done your fair share of blood work, right? So when you go to your regular doctor, your PCP, and they request labs, they're maybe testing, 10, 20 different things, or maybe some specific things. Function will provide over 100 different lab tests, catered and tailored towards you as an individual, as a male or a female, different tests for different people. And then they track your results over your lifetime, essentially. So you're going multiple times through the year and taking a blood draw sample, and then they're taking clinician insight and then giving you that information back through a really nice portal and dashboard, along with your test results and information. This really just caught my attention, just kind of as you mentioned, as we start to grow older and just want to be more aware and cognizant of our health and our types of things. So I signed up, right? It's $500. You can sign up. What would cost you here for $15,000, right? Comes down to about $42 a month. One cool thing about this, Shannon, if you have an HSA or FSA, this is eligible. So if you already have that, I know in the past, like with HSA especially, I've struggled to be like, how many Band-Aids can I buy? And like, I need to go like, what can I spend on my HSA account? And this is eligible. So you can go ahead and sign up. And it was just something that was really, really cool. That I just, I kind of just joined on kind of immediately. I got the invite, and I went about 5 days ago and got my first draw. Okay. And very shortly, just yesterday, actually, I was able to get some of those results back. So I was going to actually share some of those with you. My screen might be a little bit different, but I think this is a nice sneak peek. I don't know if anybody out there is actually showing you what Function Health looks like inside. So I'll go ahead and present that here in a second when I get that screen set up. But
this is
what do you think?
Jason. Wow. Okay. I'm thrilled about this. I think, one of the key silver linings about having been I am still a cancer survivor, is that. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, body. One of the things that really comes out of that is you do get an integrated care team. So your PCP is working with your oncologist and your radiation oncologist and your surgeon. And so you're starting to get this 360 view. But even with that, and we use Follow My Health, where I have my care team, I'm still tracking things on Google Sheets. So I'm able to see my monthly results, but not in a way that is dynamic and is comprehensive. And I can already tell just by that really small view you gave that Function Health is going to do that. And for people who don't have an integrated care team who's looking at their whole body
Correct.
holistically. And I think that's a huge miss with the American healthcare system.
Absolutely, I agree. So let's go ahead and share my dashboard. Now, I've adjusted it because I have some personal information. I'm actually fasting right now. I'm going in for my second draw, and I've only got a few biomarkers kind of coming back, and I don't have the clinical notes either. But I'll go ahead and share this. Let this take over a little larger if possible.
Wow.
So yeah, so when you log in here, right now you can see that I've got 15 biomarkers that came back already. But because all the results aren't ready, I don't have the clinician notes yet. So what happens is they take this information, and then you have professional clinicians go ahead, review the results, provide recommendations. If anything seems off or out of range, I'm sure they'll give you some of those insights here. But what I really liked about this too is that you can kind of hover over here. You'll get a quick glimpse at what these factors or what these ranges are and why. And you can also drill down inside of them to get the range, get the information. And there's a summary down here about why this is important, right? And what the optimal ranges are, and what the sources are as well. So you can go ahead and find those studies. I just think it's extremely comprehensive.
Wow.
And a really, really cool tool that you could use. So yeah, so right now I've got autoimmunity, there's liver. I'm very fortunate that all my biomarkers are within range and looking good so far. Fingers crossed, right? Because there's going to be probably 100 more over the next week or so that are going to come through. But stretch and aging, I think another big one that I failed to show over there too was you also get your biological age, right? Your true age as a result of these tests. So we
Wow.
may be in our mid 40s, close to the mid 40s, but we could be, biologically you could be mid 30s, right? Or unfortunately, you probably could be in your 50s. Who knows? It just depends on your lifestyle and depends on the things that you do. But there's my annual lab visits coming up. But yeah, so super cool so far. I'm really enjoying this. And like you had mentioned, I think just from a preventative and informative standpoint, it allows me to gain insights or glean insights into my own healthcare and kind of take control over it in a way that kind of never was done before, right? Like you said, you could get that, you could track it into Google Sheets, but this kind of compiles it all in there. And honestly, for $500 a year, I think that's nothing to kind of get this level of insights and information.
This is transformational. I'm so pleased that you could use your healthcare benefits to pay for this, but this feels like something that it would make sense for insurance to provide for you, because if you have this type of preventative view, or at least a sort of, instead of leading indicators, maybe some lagging indicators that can tell you, hey, here's something that you need to change quickly. You need to decrease red meat consumption, and that's going to make your health so much better. That should cause less doctor visits. That should cost them less money. I mean, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I mean, even if you start drilling into and researching, the founding team is founded by some medical powerhouses. Dr. Mark Hyman, I believe he's the chief medical officer at the Cleveland Clinic, right? Like it's backed by like a pretty powerful group, and I think obviously some funding, I would assume, but yeah, I talk about this a lot. We've had these conversations kind of offline as well too, where it's like, I have a 23andMe genetics, kind of workup now. I've got this going for me, right? We're in the era now where you can go and get MRIs, right? And full body scans, right? Out of pocket for, honestly, relatively, I would think somewhat low of a cost, right? To just get that.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that we can do instead of being reactive, right? A lot of medicine is, hey, we have a symptom, we go get checked, and then we try and diagnose the problem. Whereas if, sources like this, or resources like this rather, can empower and enable, I believe, people to get proactive, and especially, because I'm a member now, I'm starting to get a lot of their ads, and they've got some really very poignant ads where there are men that have used the platform and they've detected prostate cancer early, right? Or they're able to get ahead of it. And I think just, with the advent of things like this, and then now we have AI getting into imaging and medtech and things like that, I just think it's all kind of converging into this one point where it's like, it's good for humans, good for humans.
This is phenomenal. This is one of the things that I think we all hoped EMRs would do when EMRs first started showing up, right? That 360 view of your health, but they didn't exactly do that for loads of reasons that probably come down to capitalism and availability of technology. But here we are in the age of AI, and we're seeing really cool things in clinical research like digital twins. We're seeing really amazing things in clinical practice. And this I love because it puts things in your own hands.
For sure. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm excited about it. And then you get to see the new results come in. I can check it out and be more informed, right? There's just a lot of stuff that I'm learning, right, over particular biomarkers and things that you really weren't aware of, and then how it affects you at your age. One thing I mentioned, you kind of saw, you can drill down, is it will give you your ideal ranges too, because that's going to change over time, right? It's going to be
Right.
different for my daughter to be in a certain range than it would be for me or somebody who's, a senior or in the senior portion of their life.
Right. This is great. When WebMD first came out, and I know you and I remember that, when WebMD first came out, people would say, "Why is there ringing in my ear?" And all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my gosh, I have ear cancer."
Yes, all signs lead to some sort of cancer or some sort of, dire life condition, right?
Right, right. But this is so great because it gives you the quantitative information. It looks like it's backed in research. I like anytime I see sources behind
Yes.
something.
Yes.
And, I can't wait to dig into this and see, boy, am I glad you surprised me with this because I would have been awake all night digging into who built this, how did they build it? And
Right,
of
right at
course,
the
I'm going to
website.
do that.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty cool, the team. But yeah, and then if you are working with your particular healthcare team or whoever, you can take that information. We can share. I believe there's ability to share. You can just send this data directly to them, right? So you're skipping the line, I would say, so to speak, on a lot of things in the preventative care realm. So
Well, anytime you show up to one of your providers with a list of questions and observations, and I spent a lot of my early career in patient reported outcomes technology. If you, as the patient, can get really active and say, I've got questions, I've got observations, here are things that I've noticed, it's just going to make your care better.
for sure. I agree. This is so pretty cool. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm not excited to skip breakfast today, but I'm
No one ever is.
excited to get that second. So yeah, you have to, and a little bit more on the process, right? So you have to go within 10 days. You got to go get your first 2 draws, and they're taking a lot of blood, obviously. And then after that, you're taking shorter draws every 6 months. And then you're tracking the differences and the changes and the fluctuations. But a couple little cool things too that I would like to share with you that I think you'll appreciate as well. When you're onboarded, obviously the first thing they do is set you up. You can go, their network is through Quest Diagnostics. So we're all used to essentially to going to one of these big players, right?
Sure.
Everybody knows Quest. You can go there. The appointment was super simple. They gave me one confirmation code. I checked in with the touch screen. All I had to do was show them my ID because I paid my $4.99 through Function, all of the labs are covered. So there was no payment required. I walked in, they did the draw. I walked out. It took maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if that. It was super seamless. Along the way, you get text messages and email updates about your upcoming draw, which is amazing to me because it'll say, hey, 3 days out, you're going to want to stop taking supplements, right? So I do take some supplements and vitamins and things like that regularly. So you want to stop those 3 days out. 48 hours out, you'll get reminders that, hey, we're going to test for mercury. You might not want to try the seafood or the shellfish, prior to.
Right.
Obviously, just more tips on hydration and avoiding alcohol so you can get the best kind of results. They'll even make for you, Shannon, you're going to love this, a Function Health Spotify playlist so you can listen to chill music and relax. If you are somebody, clearly I'm not, afraid of needles. I have so many tattoos, but if you're somebody who gets nervous about these types of things, they'll create a calming playlist for you with a bunch of different stuff that you can check out directly on Spotify and listen to during your appointment. So
wow, just hold back that white coat syndrome. This is incredible. It's also like a health concierge because
yes, absolutely.
many doctors' offices don't give you all of those
No,
tips.
you've got a script and it's like, go get your lab work, but it's like,
Right?
I don't know what, so and that's just even made me more mindful of some of the things and some of habits that I've got going on. I'm like, all right, just kind of be more aware of that before you're going in for your lab work. So
I'm always also thinking of the nefarious side of tech. I think you and I are always like,
But
how do we evaluate it fairly? And so I'm wondering if this is something that insurance companies might also get a hold of and say, hey, we see, this is like a pre-existing condition now, or
very true. I thought about that as well, right? Yeah, absolutely. There could be something that maybe gets flagged or catches it, and then if that, I don't know, we'd have to look into how that's being shared. But I would assume they'd probably be pretty tight with privacy, right, in your account and things like that. But that's a great point. I'll have to look into that.
I am one of those people that looks in at terms and conditions, and I know most of us don't. There was that excellent South Park episode. Do you remember that?
I do.
They're just accepting everything on the iPads.
Yeah.
But I read T's and C's. That's why we don't allow TikTok in this house.
Mm.
But I would read the T's and C's on this very carefully, just because it's so new. It's burgeoning tech.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought that would be great, especially for the show. Obviously, you're such a huge proponent on preventative care, given you're a champion in that realm as well for everybody that we know, friends and family, which is great. I'm super appreciative of that. And also just to get a behind the scenes look, right? Because a lot of times, $4.99 is not an easy barrier to entry for most people, right? They're going to be like,
Right.
I might not be inclined to do that, but maybe having a peek at the dashboard and kind of how the process works might kind of inform or sway some people. So,
Oh, Jason, it was so good that you showed us. Thanks for showing us your results, and congrats on them being so good. I noticed there was also a monthly fee, which looked like it was like 40-ish dollars.
that was just the breakdown. It's a flat fee, so it's $4.99 for the year.
Okay.
Which comes out, they're showing you what that is. Basically, it's 40 some bucks.
There's so many ways, like Klarna. I mean, there's ways that you can pay later, and I think
Yeah,
that looks like about one Starbucks coffee a week. So
yeah,
I recommend to everybody to get a little bit more involved in their health. Thank God I had a preventative screening colonoscopy that was. Did they catch it early? They caught it earlier than they would have if I hadn't
early enough
done that. Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
thankfully, it was early enough. Yeah, but for sure.
Oh
So,
man, Jason, thanks for showing this to us. I think this is powerful. We usually are focused on folks in sales and marketing, but none of us are anything if we aren't healthy.
True. Can't be doing any of this if we're not have the ability, or we're not here. So that's great. And especially, we both got children, and you want to stay around as long as possible and as healthy as possible for them. So it's always a plus. So
Wow.
happy to share, and looking forward to it again next week on Try New Tech, where we do this every week, Tuesday, 7:45, super early. You can also see all the episodes. We've got a lot of cool stuff that we've been sharing over the weeks now. Shannon, I think we're episode 15 now or so. We're getting up there. This is still new, but we're chugging along here. So you can check that out on YouTube at New Tech Demos.
I love it. Thanks so much to everybody for joining in. And we love reading your comments. So do keep sending them to us, because we are doing this for you. Jason and I used to do this just for ourselves. We'd hop on and say, check out this cool new thing that I found. And we just decided to share it so that other people could take advantage of us being total nerds.
For sure. Laughing at a button and then laughing at the smile pause smoz, which you might have been hearing over. So we're getting ready for it right now. You ready?
I think I might be.
Camera. See you later, Shannon.
Bye.
Yeah.